Hello, I'm Lentz, and welcome into our Chicago studios for this week's Big Ten Wrestling Report. Iowa and Penn State are co-Big Ten champions, finishing the season with an undefeated conference dual record. The Big Ten championships are just a few weeks away, but before that, several Big Ten schools will compete in the National Dual Championship Series. Let's take a look at what we have streaming online for you on BTN and Plus on BTN To Go. The championship series pairs the top 8 Big Ten programs against dual meet champions from 7 other Division I conferences, plus 1 at-large team. The Big Ten schools will host all of these duels, and each duel other than Oklahoma State at Penn State will be available streaming online through BTN Plus on BTN To Go. The aforementioned Cowboys-Nittany Lions matchup can be seen live Sunday on BTN at 5 p.m. Eastern, and the winner will be declared the 2016 NWCA dual meet champion. The Big Ten boasts 2 undefeated teams as well as several undefeated wrestlers, most notably Ohio State's Nathan Tomasello and Iowa's Thomas Gilman at 125. And here's a look at how the weight class measures up. Nico Megaludis of Penn State has a big matchup on Sunday against Eddie Clamara of Oklahoma State. Well, there's always a tad bit more excitement when Thomas Gilman gets some TV time, and he is gracious enough to join us from our studios in Iowa City. Thomas, this is a team that finished with an undefeated record, co-Big Ten champions. What's been one characteristic that has defined this year's team?
Just moving forward every week, just going out and doing the best we can and getting better every week. Some people say this year we've had a weak schedule, and there's nothing we can do about that here, but we've gotten better even with the lesser opponents we wrestled, and we just, kept our intensity high and kept moving forward and got better every week.
And this is also a team that has a wealth of wrestlers on the starting lineup that can really rack up a lot as bonus points, including you. What's been key with that part of your competition this year?
Just going out with high intensity and going out with the mindset of scoring points, not worrying about, how I feel or what my opponent's doing, or, not trying to just win matches, just trying to open it up and scoring a lot of points. And when my wrestling speed is high and my intensity is high and I'm scoring a lot of points, those bonus points are going to come. I'm not really too worried about giving up points, because, when I'm scoring a lot of points, it doesn't matter how many points I give up, as long as I'm scoring more points than my opponent, and, I'm going to wear that guy out, and, was able to get a lot of bonus points so far this year.
Yeah, you've been very vocal about waging psychological warfare, as you and Terry Brands have termed it, going into each match. I want you to take me inside that inner dialogue that's in your head right before a competition. Describe what's going on.
I'm not sure how much dialogue's going on in my head at the moment, right before I'm going out on the mat or pre-match, but, just trying to wear on my opponent mentally, as far as, imposing that psychological warfare from the first time I see my opponent, whether that's before warm-ups or before the weigh-ins or right before the match. I'm subconsciously more or less imposing that psychological warfare. It's hard to explain because it's not something I do consciously, although sometimes it is conscious. I'm kind of talking myself in circles, but it's a hard thing to explain.
Let's flash back to last year's Big Ten championship. You faced Nathan Tomasello in the finals. How has your competition and your game changed this year? And if you do meet Tomasello again, what can we expect?
Like I said earlier, I'm just worried about scoring points and not trying to just win matches. I'm not going to be the best in the world in the sport of wrestling by trying to win matches. I got to go out there and score a lot of points and really put myself out there. Last year in the Big Ten Finals, it was a close match, and it doesn't have to be a close match. I got to put myself out there and put a lot of points on the board. I know if that scoreboard lights up, it's going to be in my favor. I got to go out there and get to my attacks and get 2 hands locked in the leg and just score a lot of points. It doesn't have to be a close match. I'm going to try to light up that scoreboard, and things will be in my favor if they do.
Iowa City is going to be the epicenter of the wrestling world for the next couple of weeks, hosting the Big Ten championships in March and then looking forward ahead to the Olympic trials in April. Seeing Olympic wrestlers in training for the Olympics in Iowa City, in your wrestling room, and being around that environment, how has that served as an inspiration?
Just to throw something in there, I think Iowa City is always the epicenter of wrestling here in this country and even the world. We got the best wrestling program as far as college and with the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. So here in Iowa City, we're always at the epicenter of wrestling and wrestling talk, always. But it's awesome being able to train next to Brent Metcalf, Tony Ramos, Bobby Telford, and Dan Dennis. You know, two of those guys are in my weight class, Dan Dennis and Tony Ramos. So being able to wrestle with two of the best guys in the world, arguably, helps me improve every day, and I help them improve. It really keeps my eye, you know, on that ultimate goal, and that's to be an Olympic champion.
And looking also ahead to the Big Ten championships, how special is this Hawkeye Nation to the sport, and what's it like to compete in your home school?
It's going to be awesome. This town really gets behind us and really supports us, and comes together when we need them, and that's, you know, during these meets and you know, when we're doing well and we're doing not so well. So everyone's going to come out to the Big Tens and support us, and you know, it's going to be a good time. You know, everyone here in Iowa City is going to be rowdy, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be wild.
Well, I know everybody here at BTN is certainly looking forward to the Big Ten championships in March. Thomas, we appreciate the time and best of luck.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this week's Big Ten Wrestling Report. In case you haven't gotten the notice by now, make sure to follow us or tweet us at Wrestling on BTN. So long for now.